No one in the kingdom of Irinder slept that night. The river that ran through the heart of the land, usually calm and clear as glass, had turned wild and strange. It roared as if alive, its waters churning with a sorrow that reached deep into the bones of anyone who heard it. From her high tower, Princess Abby watched the river from behind cold panes of glass. It shimmered silver under the moonlight, but instead of reflecting beauty, it seemed to bleed grief. Her people said the river of tears was weeping for someone lost. Abby knew it was weeping for her mother. Queen Liora had died 3 nights earlier, taken suddenly by an illness no healer could name. Her death left the kingdom hollow. The bells had tolled, black flags had been hung, and Abby had been named heir. Yet in the silence of her new crown, she felt nothing like a queen, only a frightened girl drowning in grief she didn't know how to show. But as the river's cries grew louder, something inside her whispered that her mother's story was not over. The weight of the crown. At dawn, the castle was heavy with ceremony. Abby stood before the throne, draped in a veil of white lace that smelled faintly of lilacs, her mother's favorite scent. The crown felt like stone upon her head. Her father, King Alaric, looked pale beside her, his eyes sunk deep into shadows. Since the queen's passing, he had spoken little. He ate nothing, slept rarely, and spent long hours staring at the river. "The river mourns with us," said the court priest, laying a trembling hand upon the king's shoulder. "It carries her spirit to the eternal sea." But Abby didn't believe that. When she closed her eyes, she could still hear her mother's voice, soft and steady, like the wind in tall grass, saying, "Promise me you'll protect the river, my heart. It's older than the throne and wiser than any crown." Now the river screamed as though it were alive and in pain. That night, unable to bear the sound any longer, Abby slipped out of her chambers with only a lantern and her mother's pendant around her neck. She followed the echoing cries down the marble corridors, through the gardens, and into the misty dark that hugged the riverbank. What she saw made her stop breathing. The water shimmered not silver now, but pale blue, and rising from its surface was a figure, soft, translucent, and radiant. Her mother's face. The voice beneath the water. "Mother?" Abby's voice broke. The figure smiled, but her eyes were full of sorrow. "Abby, my love, I don't have long." Abby stumbled closer, her lantern trembling. "How are you here?" "The river carries the truth of every soul it touches," said her mother. "Mine was not meant to leave this world yet, but something has bound it here. The river cries because it is dying, and when it dies, our people will too." Abby's breath caught. "What do you mean?" "Your father," said the queen softly, "made a promise long ago. To keep the river's power, he gave it a part of himself. But when I fell ill, he broke that promise. He tried to take that power from me, and now the river weeps his betrayal." The word struck Abby like cold wind. "No," she whispered. "He wouldn't." Her mother's image flickered. "Find the heart of the river, deep beneath its waters. Only there can you mend what's been broken. But beware, your father's grief has turned to something darker. If he finds you, he will stop you." Then the figure dissolved, leaving only ripples that glowed faintly blue. The descent. By morning, Abby had made her choice. She disguised herself in a cloak, took her mother's pendant as a charm, and set out alone along the river's path. The further she went, the quieter the world became. Villages once lively were shuttered, crops withered along the banks, and even the birds refused to sing. After 2 days, the river narrowed into a deep ravine. Legend said the heart lay there, where the river first began. Abby climbed down through moss and stone until she reached a cavern mouth that breathed cool mist. Inside, the sound of the river changed, it was no longer a roar but a heartbeat. As Abby followed the twisting tunnels, strange visions appeared in the water that ran along the walls. She saw her mother smiling as she crowned her, she saw her father as a young man, kneeling by the river, cutting his palm and letting blood fall into the current. Then she saw something else. A dark shape moving beneath the surface. A voice echoed around her, not her mother's but her father's, low and broken. Why did you leave me, Liora? Why did the river take you from me? Abby froze. The voice wasn't in her head. From the shadows ahead, King Alaric stepped into the faint light of her lantern. His crown was gone, his robes torn. His eyes were wild. Father, she whispered. The father's sin. So, you came here too, Alaric said, his voice brittle. To save her. Abby took a step back. Mother said the river is dying. We can fix it, together. He shook his head. No. I tried to save her once. The river refused. It demanded a life for a life, and I offered mine. But it wanted yours. Abby's heart stopped. Mine. You were born under the river's blessing, Alaric said. Your mother's wish bound your soul to its waters. When she fell ill, I begged the river to spare her. I tried to take your place. The truth hit Abby like lightning. Her mother had been dying because of her. The river's grief is mine, Alaric said, stepping closer. But I can end it. I can give it what it wants. Before Abby could speak, the cavern trembled. The walls pulsed with blue light, and the river rose like a living thing, swirling between them. Her mother's voice returned, faint but fierce. Stop this, Alaric. You'll destroy everything. Alaric shouted into the storm, then let it be destroyed. I have lost too much already. The water lashed out, striking him across the chest and hurling him to the ground. Abby ran to him, gripping his hand. Father, please, it doesn't have to end this way. He looked up at her, tears mixing with blood. Then you must finish what I began. Before she could stop him, he pressed his palm to her pendant, the one her mother had given her. Light burst from it, flooding the cavern. The heart of the river. When the light faded, Abby stood alone before a vast underground lake. Its surface was mirror smooth, reflecting endless stars though none shone above. A voice came from the depths. Princess of Erinder, do you come to give or to take? Abby's throat tightened. I come to heal. Then show us your truth. The pendant pulsed with warmth. Memories spilled from her, her mother teaching her to braid flowers into her hair, her father lifting her to see the sunrise, her fear, her anger, her love. The lake shimmered, and from it rose a figure of water shaped like a woman, her face both kind and ancient. You have your mother's heart, the river said. And your father's courage. But to mend me, one must stay and one must go. The river cannot hold both. Abby trembled. You mean, someone must die? Not death, said the river. Becoming. The one who stays will flow with me forever. The other will live to rule the land. Her father's last words echoed in her mind. Finish what I began. Abby closed her eyes. Then take me. Let my father live. But the river laughed softly, not cruelly but with sorrow. Your father's choice was already made. His spirit has joined me. He gave his last breath to open the way for you. Abby's knees gave out. He's gone. Yes. But his love endures. The river no longer weeps. It remembers. The pendant around her neck dissolved into light, spreading across the lake until everything glowed like dawn.